Welcome to Artificial Insights, where we have conversations with leaders and thinkers in AI about how AI is changing economics, work, and us. I'm your host, Daniel Manary, and this is Season 5. This special episode is part of our student special on AI and education. We wanted to hear directly from students, not just from adults talking about students. Today, I'm joined by Keya, a grade 12 student who loves being involved in her community. She's part of Youth Tech Labs, serves as a DECA executive, works part-time, and loves to travel. Here's my conversation with Keya. Could you tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Yeah, so my name is Keya. I am a grade 12 student looking at post-secondary, still waiting on a few offers. I love being involved in my community. I'm a member of Youth Tech Labs. That's how I met you. I have a part-time job. I play sports. I'm very busy, but I love it. One of my goals is to travel the world. That's probably my biggest ambition. And yeah, I'm just excited to see what happens in the coming months with a lot of big changes and big decisions. Obviously nervous, but a lot of
Yeah,
excitement.
cool. And when you do get to traveling the world, ChatGPT is excellent at taking pictures of things and saying, what does this mean?
I'll be using it.
And I think with a podcast like this, there's a question that's on everybody's mind, which is, Keya, are you an AI?
I hope not. I hope not.
No confidence?
I don't think so. For now. For now.
I was interested in basically highlighting what's going on at a school regarding AI
Yeah.
and things that you've seen and experienced and just what it actually looks like to be a student and want to use AI or be interacting with AI and maybe challenges that have come up, because I know you've shared some with me already,
Yeah.
but talking about them in this format is kind of fun.
Yeah. It's everywhere now. It's being used in schools. It's being used in workplaces. It's being used everywhere. And I think it's especially hard as a student because it's accessible to you and everybody around you
Mm.
is using it. So of course you want to use it as well. But then there's strict guidelines on it. And then there's false accusations that come with it, like what happened to me, that just
Mm.
ends up causing a lot of problems. So it's definitely good, but it can also be really bad in a lot of different ways. Everybody says that machines are going to take over the world. And I don't know if I completely agree with that yet, but people have become really reliant on it. And I'm not one of those people at this point. And as one of those people, I'm obviously putting the time and the work into what I produce and what I turn in at school and things like that. But you'll see other people during tests, they have their phone, they scan a test, AI gives them a whole solution and they're
No, really?
set. Yeah, people are sneaky with it.
Wow. Okay. I
Mhm.
did not know that.
Yeah. It's
And
not super common because obviously
sure.
teachers are walking around and watching for it, but it happens sometimes.
Wow. Okay. And I obviously that wouldn't be allowed, but is there allowed use cases of AI in school?
A lot of teachers do recommend using it for studying purposes in terms of, okay, you've just learned this lesson, plug it into here and ask AI to make you cue cards for it because it saves you a little bit of time as opposed to writing it out or going onto Quizlet and having to make your own. So a lot of people, teachers, are very for that. Even some of them will be okay with you using it to explain concepts and things like that, but they're definitely very against the using it to actually do your work, which rightfully so. Mhm.
So then anything that you hand in shouldn't be with AI or involving AI in that process.
And that's where it gets tricky because it's you can't have your work obviously copy pasted from ChatGPT, from any other AI. I know there's a lot out there. But then when they put it through their AI detectors, because integrated through Google Classroom now, which is where you submit all your work, they have AI detectors. And when you do that, it will highlight sentences and say, this is AI or this is 98% AI generated. But that's not always true. There's no way to actually know that for sure. And that's where it gets really complicated.
What is that part of the Google Classroom? You said, what is
Yeah,
it called?
like all I know, teachers tell us that it's integrated into Google Classroom, but I know they also have their own, I don't know, sources that they used and they can copy paste a student's work, plug it into there, and it's basically gonna scan it. And I don't know the exact name. I think there's a couple different softwares that can do it now, and they're getting more and more advanced every year.
But you told me a story before of when one of those softwares didn't do the right thing.
Yeah.
Could you share that now?
Yeah. So basically, it was English class last semester. It was my grade 12 English class. And that's obviously a really important class. It's going to be included in every single one of my top 6 averages for my university applications. So a lot of stress. We had this debate to do. It was me up against one other person from my class, and we each had to read a book, and then we had to research our opponent's book, and we had to like debate and say which book is better. Really, you can listen to that and see that it's really your own work, right? Like you have to read the book, you have to figure out your points to argue, you have to tell the class why you personally enjoyed your book. So it's a very personal assignment. Of course, I read my book. I had a bunch of kind of prompts ready to go in script style, but it was more of like a rough draft that was just there for me to reference. Most of the conversation was just all natural, right? Because he would bring up points that I wasn't able to prepare for, and then I would just have to come up with a response right on the spot. And I ended up winning that debate. The class voted that my book was better based off of the points that I brought up and my arguments to his points. But after that, my teacher went through my rough work and he said that when he put it through his AI software, it came up as, I can't even remember the percentage now, but it was a high percentage of AI. And so obviously he was like, what happened here? Like, why is this coming up? Like, I can't mark it. And I was like, this is me. Like, these are my thoughts on the book that I read. It's my opinion, and I write I don't like grammatically and things. And a lot of the time, AI will look at things like that and be like, okay, if the grammar is correct, if it's said in a way that's maybe more professional, that could be a sign of AI. And so he literally showed me, he sat me down, he was like, this is highlighted in red, like all of that is AI. And I was like, I literally
Mm.
typed it out. So that was really stressful because I was like, this is my work. And so I did fight it. I sent him an email, a long email. I was like, look, this is this is the work that I did. And I brought up things too. I was like, during the debate, I wasn't even referencing these notes a lot. Most of what I said and what I'm being marked on, I came up with on the spot. And so I was able to fight it and I was able to get my grade, which was really
Oh,
great.
good.
I was able to do that. It took a while because we had Christmas break in the middle of it and it was really busy. But I was able to prove that I didn't use it. But I can just imagine like how many people wouldn't have been able to do that. And the teacher would have just said, no, I'm not giving you your mark. And he was like that for a while. He was like, no, like I can't give it to you
Mm.
because my software says this. And it's, but we can't trust that software because I did the work. That wasn't AI. So that was a really stressful month because that time it was worth a lot. And obviously with grade 12 English, there was a lot of stress, but it did work out in the end. That was good. But it's just crazy to think that like a software could decide I could get like a 0 on that assignment or that it wouldn't count towards a grade, even though I spent so much time on it.
Yeah. Because I remember you told me about that in December, and at
Yeah.
the time, your teacher wasn't interested in
Yeah.
budging. Do you know if something changed? Is that a per teacher thing? Is that something the school has a policy on? Or
I I honestly think it was how much I fought for it. Like I sent him a pretty detailed email about it and I brought it up to him multiple times. I was like, "Hey, like I'm here to talk. If you want to go into depth about my points and why they're on that paper, like I can tell you my whole thought process." And so I was very adamant about the fact that I did the work. And I think that was probably part of what convinced him, okay, if she had used AI, she wouldn't be arguing it to this extent because I'm just gonna get proven wrong if I did use it. So I think that was part of it. He also actually at the end of the year, at the end of the semester, made a slideshow presentation, and it showed the percentage of students that used AI on each of our assignments. And the numbers were crazy. It was coming up as 50% of the class was using it and all those things. And I think throughout the semester, he slowly started to realize that can't be the case. There can't be a way that really that many people used it, you know? So I think that was maybe part of it when he started looking at other people's assignments and started seeing that popping up. I think that was definitely a big thing because people it went around that he was going to be strict about AI. So people would have stopped using it after hearing that. But it still kept coming up as this person used AI and all that.
I guess this comes from plagiarism detection,
Yeah.
and the idea would be people shouldn't plagiarize, so figure out if they have.
Yeah.
But then it sounds like he just lost confidence in the tool's ability to actually tell what was AI or not AI.
Yeah, I don't know fully because I know like of other people in that class. They came to me and they said, "How did you fight it?" I got flagged and he's not giving me a mark. And I was like, "You just have to fight it." I don't even know if all of them were able to get marks for their work. I don't know
Yeah.
exactly how that played out. I know it's not just my teacher. I know it happened with like in every class. Even people have English this semester and they're coming to me
Mm,
with Keya. My teacher said that AI was used and I lost points for it. And I'm like, yeah, like it's crazy. Like it's making a really big impact positively, but also negatively for a lot of students.
mm. Is there other classes that kind of negative impact shows up in, or is English special?
I feel like English is kind of the biggest scenario, right? Because you're just doing so much writing, whereas classes like biology and like math, that's all objective. It's there's a right or wrong answer and you can figure out a solution for it and AI could do that for you. Yes, but at the end of the day it's you're doing that in a test setting where you shouldn't have your phone out. So I think it's really English where you see it more because that debate was prepared for at home. It wasn't an in class, no electronics. Like
Mm,
we did it on a Google Doc. I would say French, actually. I have French this semester, and my teacher was
mm.
telling us, she was like, "Guys, the same rules apply. Like, people last semester, they would use ChatGPT, but get French answers." And I was like, "Oh, like, I didn't even know that was a possibility." So I think the languages, and I would assume like history, geography, things where there's more writing, are definitely seeing more of the negative impacts.
Have you seen any positive impacts or positive stories at school?
I'm trying to think of like a specific example. I know it's helping a lot of people as students. We're so busy. Like it's not just school. Like I have a part-time job, I play sports, and that's the case with most people. We have so many other things going on. And so definitely having it as a tool to explain certain concepts on the weekend when your teacher's not there, or being able to just plug in a lesson and say, "Can you make like a practice quiz for us?" They do it instantly, and it's really great timing wise. Like it helps, like in terms of time management, because then you can focus on other things if AI is doing a little bit for you in a way. I think it's really about how you use it. Like you can use it and just copy paste and call it a day and say, "Okay, I'm done." Or you can use it to help you. And I think that's what a lot of students are learning how to do.
How would you use it now? Or is that different than when you started using it?
Yeah, this semester, I feel like my courses, I have calculus. So sometimes I'll be doing homework and I get really confused and my teacher's not here to help me. So sometimes I will just put it in. I'll say, "Okay, what is the derivative of this?" And it actually gives you a full step-by-step solution. And then it helps you because it's like it's not just giving me an answer, it's telling me the process of how they got there. And so that then helped me today when I did my test. It's definitely useful. Kinesiology, I may start actually using it more because there's a lot of labeling and memorizing. And so I think putting those diagrams into ChatGPT and saying, "Can you make a little practice quiz?" That would be really helpful. Haven't used it for French. I'm confident enough in my French ability that I don't need to do that. And then I have chemistry too, so sometimes when I run into problems there to explain this theory, AI is always a nice tool.
Are there any teachers or other people involved at the administration level of the school that have a positive outlook on AI or have ways that they would like to incorporate it or are incorporating it?
Yeah, for sure. My chemistry teacher started our semester off by showing his favorite AI. And I forgot the name now, but it was really interesting. He said that it can actually make video lessons for you based off of
Hmm.
like you can scan like a note and they will make a video for you to better understand that because a lot of people like me are visual learners. They
Hmm.
like seeing the things rather than reading it. So he actually shared that with the class and he was like, "Please use it. Like I recommend that you use this." So there definitely are a lot of people that are looking at it in like a positive lens.
Anything else that stands out to you about AI at school?
It's crazy because in grade 10, I don't know when ChatGPT was released to the public and when it became so normalized, but I remember grade 10, second semester, so that would have been 2 years ago. My English teacher was telling us about this, and she was like, "Yeah, like, I know artificial intelligence, it's coming up, and some of you may be thinking about using it for assignments, and I'm just telling you, like, please don't do that." And she just did a little talk about it, and at that point, I was like, "Oh, like, I don't even know what that is, like, why would I ever need that? I have Google." And it's crazy because the rest of grade 10 didn't touch it. I don't believe first semester grade 11, I even knew much about it. It wasn't until, I guess, a year ago, grade 11, second semester, that I started realizing, wait, like, this is an accessible tool to me that I can use, kinda help me out. But it's just crazy that in the last couple years, it's become so big that 2 years ago when I started high school, like, nobody even knew what it was. It's all happened really recently, and I think that's really interesting.
Yeah, I think you mentioned at the beginning too the idea that AI could How did you put it? Did you say
Like take over the
you don't think you
world.
said,
Like
yeah, that's how you put it.
like the
Yeah.
robot. And in that like mythical kind of sense.
Yeah, the sci-fi stuff. Yeah. So what makes you say that?
I don't know. Like I think it's definitely an exaggeration. Like I've seen Terminator and that actually happens in Terminator. But it's also crazy because people are so reliant on it. Like somebody could be asked to write a 5 sentence paragraph about something they enjoy doing and they think that's not worth my time. Let me just spit it into chat, gives it something in like 5 seconds and they're
Mm,
done. And it's like, wow, what are you gonna do when you're are working a job and you have people asking you questions and you don't have ChatGPT, you have to come up with the response. What are you going to do? And so I wouldn't be surprised if it becomes like a common thing in like jobs and people have their phones out during client meetings and are asking chat for help because that's what they're doing in high school and they'll probably continue to do
mm.
that later in their life if that's what they're used to right now.
So I guess that's a version of AI taking over the world.
Yeah. Yeah. Just kind of that human reliance on it that we've put ourselves into.
Is there anything else that you'd like to share?
I'm trying to think. I feel like there's a lot to say about it because it's such a big part of all our lives. I'm trying to think, did I use ChatGPT today? I don't think today, but I would have used it at some point this week to search something up to get. Yeah, last night when I was studying for my calculus test, like I put a question in there. So it's crazy. It's like it's built into our daily lives now. And I think it's like on all ends, students, teachers, like parents, we all just have to learn how to navigate it. And I think there's just a lot of clashing right now between kind of the student population and the teacher population because obviously teachers don't want the plagiarism, but students are just trying to get their way through high school and get their good grades. And they have the softwares in place, but as you can see from my story, like they're not always accurate and that can cause a lot of problems. So I think a lot is going to change in the coming probably months, years. My sister's only in grade 10, so I'm interested to see what happens when she's in grade 12 English. And I don't know, a lot of teachers are moving things back to paper to just
Ooh.
completely avoid the possibility of AI. Even then, you can search something up and copy it down, so it's not foolproof. But yeah, I think a lot is changing, even just in the last 2 years. Like my example, that in grade 10, I remember my English teacher, she told us about it, and I was like, what is that? I don't know what that is, and I would never use it. And now look, like, I use it a lot, so it's crazy.
I started this podcast because of an image that came to me in a dream. Back when cities had walls, everyone passed through the gate. Talk to enough people there and you'd understand the city. I wanted to stand at the gate and understand not just how AI was changing, but how AI was changing us. If you know someone building or leading with AI, or if this episode was useful, an introduction, a share, or a quick review on your podcast app all help keep these conversations going and help others find them. You can reach me on LinkedIn at Daniel Manary or by email at daniel@manary.house. That's Daniel at manary.haus. Thanks for listening.